A man goes to a female dentist to have a tooth pulled. When she brings out a big syringe for the anesthetic, he panics. No way, no needles, I hate needles. So she switches to the nitrous oxide tank. I can't do gas either, he says. Just thinking about a mask on my face makes me feel suffocated. The dentist thinks for a moment and asks, how about taking a pill? No problem, he replies. I'm fine with pills. She hands him 2 small blue tablets and he swallows them. What are those? He asks. Viagra, she says calmly. Well, I'll be damned, the man says. I didn't know Viagra worked as a painkiller. It doesn't, the dentist replies, but it'll give you something to hold on to while I pull your tooth. One day during a lively math class, the teacher decided to spark her students' interest with a question that sounded simple but invited creative thinking. She scanned the room until her eyes settled on a group of girls in the middle row, quietly chatting among themselves. She knew them well, smart, quick-witted, and always ready with an answer, even if their responses were often more entertaining than correct. With a confident smile, the teacher chose to put them on the spot. She cleared her throat, bringing the room to attention, and asked, "Can anyone tell me what happens if you put 2 into 1? The question lingered in the air, and the lively chatter instantly dissolved into an uneasy silence, the kind that meant the students were either completely confused or carefully weighing their words. The girls exchanged puzzled looks, trying to figure out whether it was a trick question or if there was some hidden math concept they were missing. The tension in the room grew as everyone waited for someone to answer. Finally, after what felt like forever, one girl cautiously raised her hand. Relieved, the teacher nodded for her to speak. The girl, wearing an expression that mixed curiosity with caution, said slowly, "Miss, either you have a lot of courage, or for us, even just 1 would be too much to handle." A soldier came running up to a nun, completely out of breath. "Please," he begged, "may I hide under your skirt? I'll explain later." The nun agreed. Moments later, 2 military police officers rushed over and asked, "Sister, have you seen a soldier run by?" "He went that way," the nun replied, pointing down the road. After the MPs left, the soldier crawled out from under her skirt and said, "I can't thank you enough, sister. You see, I don't want to go to Iraq." "I understand completely," the nun said. The soldier added a bit sheepishly, "I hope I'm not being rude, but you have a great pair of legs." The nun smiled and replied, "If you'd looked a little higher, you would have seen a great pair of balls. I don't want to go to Iraq either." A nun and a priest were crossing the desert when halfway through their journey, their camel began to falter. Realizing it couldn't go on, they set up camp and hoped for rescue. Days passed, the camel eventually died, and it became clear they were stranded with little chance of survival. Accepting their fate, they spent their remaining time praying and reflecting on their lives. At last, the priest turned to the nun and said, "Sister, before I die, there's something I've always wished for, to see a woman naked. Would you grant me this final request?" The nun hesitated, then after a moment agreed. As she removed her clothing, she said, "Well, Father, I've never seen a man naked either. Would you mind?" The priest nodded and undressed as well. The nun looked at him for a moment, then pointed and asked, "Father, what is that thing hanging between your legs?" The priest smiled gently and replied, "My child, that is a gift from God. If I place it inside a woman, it can create new life." The nun's eyes widened. "Well then," she said, "in that case, stick it in the camel." "My wife said she would leave me if I didn't stop making jokes about European cities. I'm determined not to lose her." A priest, a rabbi, and an atheist walk into a bar. The bartender points to a sign that reads, "No jokes served here," and asks them to leave. Without a word, they turn around and walk out. The next day, a horse walks into the same bar. Same routine. The bartender points to the sign. With a long face, the horse sighs and leaves. The following day, a chicken walks in. The bartender gestures to the sign again and says, "Sorry, no jokes served here." Annoyed, the chicken replies, "Fine, but where can I get a drink?" The bartender says, "There's a bar across the road." Yesterday, Johnny got a flat tire on the motorway. He carefully pulled over onto the hard shoulder, got out of the car, and opened the boot. From inside, he pulled out 2 cardboard cutouts, unfolded them, and set them up behind his car facing oncoming traffic. They looked incredibly realistic. Both were wearing trench coats pulled open to reveal their naked bodies and private parts to passing drivers. Just as Johnny expected, cars began to slow down. Traffic quickly backed up. Horns started blaring and drivers were waving and shouting as they passed. Before long, a police car pulled in behind him. An officer stepped out and walked toward Johnny, clearly not in a good mood. "What's going on here?" the officer demanded. "My car has a flat tire," Johnny replied calmly. Well then, the officer snapped. What the hell are those obscene cardboard figures doing by the side of the road? Johnny looked surprised. Oh, he said, those are my emergency flashers. One morning, a third-grade teacher announced to the class, we have a new student today. Please stand up and tell everyone your name. The boy stood up and said, my name's Little Johnny. The teacher immediately replied, get out of my classroom.